Fantastic. Well, thanks very much for coming along. Very interesting presentation from Dan. Absolutely fascinating. Mining is a sector that you cannot predict with any great certainty other than a 5 to 10 year horizon. If you're trying to make short-term gains, it's not for you. We have people who are on our Twitter feed asking us for short-term news, and sometimes you just can't. It's frustrating because there are rules and regulations, and basically you can't tell everybody what's happening all the time. So what I'm going to do today is give you an overview of this stock. It's currently an outrageous opportunity is how I would describe it. It seems to be in the middle of a perfect storm. So here you go. This is the standard disclaimer. Apologies for that, but that's what we have to do. So what are people saying about gold right now? Basically, there's lots of people saying that there's going to be an increase in the price. So this will be available on the websites, our own one, but basically there's a general feeling that the price is going to increase. There's some evidence of movement in the currency markets, and we, both Richard Polden, the executive chairman, and myself and our other shareholders, are strongly of the view that Wishbone Gold is a hedge against what's going to come in the economic market. Gold is a store of value, and people usually buy gold when there are uncertainties in the market. And frankly, at the minute, despite what you've seen on the share price charts, I'm not convinced we're in a sustained recovery period. And I don't know how many of you have noticed, but the BRICS have formed their own reserve bank in Shanghai. So we believe that there are going to be some major changes in economic forces across the world, mainly led by, of course, China and Russia. So here's another interesting fact. So commentators think this. Look at what's happening with the central banks. And there's some very interesting names up here. Turkey, Russia, South Korea, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, and Sri Lanka and Ukraine. Broadly, all these guys are stockpiling. There's no other way to describe it. They're out there in the market. Why are they doing it? Well, you will have read some of the stuff in the press about how some markets are manipulated. I couldn't possibly comment, but very interesting. There is probably a shortfall in the market of physical gold. So, here's a very interesting chart. Just look how much gold China is buying. It's amazing. The quantities are amazing. And let's not forget that we actually don't know whether these figures are right, because China only publishes data once in a blue moon, and even then you can't be sure it's right. So, that's just to give you a bit of context. So what's the overview? Well, we're AIM listed. We're an exploration and development company focused on gold and silver. We have and we can give you early stage exposure to the metals industry. We believe the long-term fundamentals remain very strong for gold and precious metals. Despite the pullback in price, we're expecting that to change. And as I said earlier, gold is a store of wealth, and it is a natural hedge against inflation. And it's been around for millennium. You go back through any economic crisis, Romans, Greeks, everybody buys gold. So, whilst we've got some early stage assets, our focus is on to actually purchase some producing assets using a strategy called closeology, i.e. where has somebody else found gold before? I guess where is the infrastructure, and where are there any strikes that might go across into other tenements that are available to be purchased? So we started out in Queensland, we floated in 2012, but those initial tenements were bought before that. And at the moment, those are basically going through evaluation, although there will be some more work that we will announce in due course. And actually, there are some quite exciting developments there, but I can't tell you what it is right now because we need to put that into the public domain at the correct time. Our wider strategy is to be a consolidator of viable gold resources globally. So what we're looking for is the opportunity to buy a portfolio of assets to consolidate with a global mineral footprint and deliver real shareholder value based on producing assets. You've seen the chart, basically even news, good news flow, no one moves the share price, no one's interested. It's all about cash. Cash is king. Are you producing cash? Is there a dividend stream? So that's how our strategy has evolved. We're led by a team of highly experienced managers. Of course, I'm going to say that. But here is where we are right now. Only 3.3. Very reasonable share price. Couldn't possibly encourage you to buy some shares. But basically, our executive chairman is the biggest shareholder, and most importantly, Global Resources Investment Trust are our first institutional shareholder, and they hold approximately 20%, although it's reduced recently. So these are the names of the management. There's Richard Polden, very experienced, founder of Sirius Minerals, which went from a very similar market cap, 2 million up to 350 million. Before he left the company, left the board. There's myself as the CFO, apologies. And we have 3 non-execs, Jonathan Harrison, George Cardona, and Michael Manelli, all very experienced people, and Alan Gravatt as our company secretary. So let me tell you about our first institutional shareholder. Basically, this is a new trust, which will also give you exposure in the PLC market. It's led by a highly experienced team, led by Willie West and Sam Hutchins. We did a share-for-share exchange as part of their listing. So we swapped our 20% for a stake in Grit, which we will be able to liquidate and use for resources as we move forward. So effectively, they will support us as we build the opportunities in the portfolio should we need to go out for equity. So our strategy is fully endorsed by very experienced institutional shareholders. If you look at Grit's previous experience, basically they launched at £1 in a previous life, which was called Resource Investment Trust, and look at the performance. So for every £1, they basically gave you 3 back. We did a placing and open offer in March and April, which was underwritten by our chairman. And it was to deal with the constant complaint from small retail investors that they never got a chance to participate in institutional placings. Richard actually underwrote the issue himself. And we raised something like £467,000. So we have cash in the bank, which is another important factor on Dan's list. So let me tell you about the actual sites themselves. They're all based around this area, Charters Towers in Queensland. And I think the chart which will show you where we are in Queensland is a little later on. But basically, we have a group of tenements surrounded, effectively a little block where there has been historic mines in the past. So following the glaciology period, someone's got a gold strike. Let's have a look next door. So here's a brief summary. We have 4 properties in Queensland, 3 Wishbone tenements, strangely numbered 2, 3 and 4. Don't ask me why. But effectively, we've got some very encouraging results. particularly in one of the places, Oaky Mill and Hanging Valley. Oaky Mill is very close to Mount Wright Gold, where Resolute Resources have produced 100,000 ounces per annum. So all the kinds of things that Dan was saying. Another area, White Mountain, again, 6 historic operations there. One mine kicked out 17.4 kilograms. There's high grade gold at very close to Clement's copper workings, and we've got very positive CPR suggesting that there will be targets there. So here's the map of Queensland. So here we are up here, very close to Brisbane, and you can see that all of these things surround a particular, all of the tenements surround a particular area. So Wishbone 2 is looking very interesting right now, but I can't say too much about that. But you will have to watch our website in the very near future. So this is just some more detail on all of the sites, but this presentation will be available on the website, and I'm not going to take you through the granular detail. But it is in the presentation should you need it. And again, Hanging Valley, very interesting. We've got some very, very encouraging results. Again, some more slides giving you some of the data and the detail. White Mountain is a little bit further away. Charters Tower is here, and we're a little bit further up here. But again, some very good indications that there is high prospectivity here. So again, lots of old mines and lots of workings where there looks like there's going to be very good activity. So very interesting. White Mountain is very close to the Granite Castle project, run by another company. Mantle Minerals, I think, is the name. And there will be something that we will be putting out fairly soon on that. These are the exploration results. I'm not going to take you through the detail, but all of these things are available. But the main conclusion is, this is a great opportunity. There's been a couple of developments that I want to share with you. Basically, opportunity to get into the early stage, plus we're going to develop the prospects in Queensland, which look very prospective. We aim to be a consolidator of the gold assets, and we're able to use more modern techniques than have been done in the past, so sometimes the workings were abandoned without actually taking out all the gold. Proven board. We've got a track record of creating value, and the one thing I notice that we haven't expressed clearly here is that we appointed an investment bank in Dubai to Barrack to basically help raise debt finance for our acquisition program. More of that in the press later. So here's our contact details. I'll be around. You're more than welcome to ask any questions. Email details are on there, and if there's anybody who's interested in finding out a bit more, please don't hesitate to ask. Thank you very much.